that main thing that she said about making it believable was the key thing.
Without being there.
Right, yeah, without being, yep. So that was the main point that I got out of her. You know, explaining what she does as a voice actor, and as you can see, she does it really well. She has so many voices that she does. So here in our project for Bandlab today, the way that we're gonna emulate her voice acting is um, you can like I said, you're gonna pick a passage. I picked Dr. Seuss Green Egg Ham, and I just read it verbatim. I read it all the way through. I cut the recording on just like a podcast, read the book from beginning to end, and then I went back and actually edited my voice, and I even added music and sound effects to like she said in the video to make it more believable about what's happening. So we'll let you listen to this. This is
Okay.
my rendition of Green Eggs and Ham.
Green Eggs
Alright.
and Ham by Dr. Seuss. I am Sam. I am Sam. Sam I am. That Sam I am. That Sam I am. I do not like that Sam I am. Would you like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Would you like them with a mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with the fox? Not in a box, not with the fox, not in a house, not with a mouse. I would not eat them here or there. I would not eat them anywhere. I would not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you? Could you? In a car? Eat them, eat them. Here they are. I would not, could not, in a car. You may like them, you will see. You may like them in a tree. I would not, could not, in a tree. Not in a car, you let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. A train, a train, a train. Could you, would you, on a train? Not on a train. Tree, not in a car, Sam. Let me be. I would not, could not, in a box. I would not, could not with the fox. I will not eat them in a house. I will not eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere. I do not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Say, in the dark, here in the dark. Would you, could you, in the dark? I would not, could not, in the dark. Would you, could you, in the rain? I would not, could not in the rain. Not in the dark, not on a train, not in a car, not in a tree. I do not like them, Sam, you see. Not in a house, not in a box, not with a mouse, not with a fox. I will not eat them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. You do not like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. Could you, would you, with a goat? I would not, could not, with a goat. Would you, could you, on a boat? I could not, would not, on a boat. Will not with a goat. I will not eat with them in the train, not in the dark, not in a tree, not in a car. Will you let me be? I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with the fox. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with the mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. You do not like them, so you say. Try them, and you may. Try them, and you may, I say. Sam, if you let me be, I will try them. You will see. And he tries them. Say, I like green eggs and ham. I do. I like them, Sam, I am. I would eat them with a boat, and I would eat them with a goat, and I would eat them in the rain, and in the dark, and on a train, and in a car, and in a tree. They are so good, you see. So I would eat them in a box, and I would eat them with the fox, and I would eat them in a house, and I would eat them with the mouse, and I would eat them here and there. Say, I will eat them anywhere. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, Sam I am. The end.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Right.
yeah. Any questions about that or comments?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm like, no, I can't even come close to that. But
Oh.
you just took sound effects from the loops, or how did you do that?
Yeah. So initially I did actually use the loops. Some of those sounds I actually had to go find on the internet. And I downloaded them from YouTube or the public domain. But there are in here in the loop section, all of the music that I used in this is completely on Bandlab. And the main place that I got it was in this cinematic portion right here.
Okay, I see that.
Because I'll show you this because and this is why there's no need to feel like this is out of your reach, because that's why I love the loop pack. So when I was looking for what type of music, because like I said, the first step I did, I recorded it, and then I came back and did the music next. I was looking at what sound do I need, and so I just happened to be looking in the string section, and if you see this, the first sound that you hear,
Right.
those that part, this I'm gonna play this part right here. Those are called worrisome violas, and I was just thinking, Sam I am is pretty worrisome. Like, yeah,
Right.
I mean, so even though I have a musical ear, I could have picked any loop that I heard and been like, oh, this matches the emotion that I want. It made it quite easy because I mean, I looked at the first word that described the loop, and worrisome fit what I was looking for.
Okay.
And so and then I mean, I just make small little connections. I didn't try to think too big, but this question that I asked right here, Sam I am's part.
In the dark.
He's like, this is the part where he asked him. He was like, "Would you eat green eggs and ham in the dark?" Well, the loop that is on that part, I'm trying to zoom in right here. The loop that's on that part is called dark tension rhythm. I mean,
Okay.
he said the word dark, and I was like, all right, let me. I probably came over here to this loop bar where it clicked on all loops and just typed in the word dark. And yep, the first dark synthesis rhythm, and not even too far down is that dark tension rhythm.
Okay.
And I mean, so looking for the emotion or trying to find the music to match my passage, my story, I did not like overthink. I didn't have to look too far.
Okay.
And then same thing here, like the caution. I put this is called caution strings, and I put that because it's like this was at the climax of the story. Pretty much, this is the moment right before I think his name is Guy I am actually eats the green eggs and ham. So the sound here, it's just the tension that's been building up the entire story. Like it's we're getting on that last little part, and the last few parts, just the strings that I selected in there, again, just going by the names that Bandlab gave them, I've got good time strings, showman strings, and I mean that just lets you know off gate what type of sound you're getting out of these strings instead of them being rude and just saying, "Hey, these are strings." You know, you can know what type of emotion that you're going to convey with these strings. So,
Right.
you know, it helped like this pure, you know, quiet strings coming in, and then with that melody, like it was just this very joyous moment after we were just worrisome and we were dark and we were cautious, and
Hmm.
now we had this like release and expression. So yeah, I mean, and picking music, like I tried to keep it you know, pretty simple, and I used all of the loops in there. And then so down here I have all of my sound effects. And so also I know on mine it looks like I did a whole lot and I have,
Yeah.
you know, so many tracks and stuff. But let me tell you, you can do this project with 3 tracks because all you need is the part where you recorded your music and then some sound effects. You don't have to go all out and put 30, 40, you know, different individual clips like I did. I specifically, you know, wanted to show off to give the example for the class to be able to follow along and, you know, be able to see what I did. But I mean, honestly, um, you know, 3 or 4 sound effects is all that's necessary because your music is really carrying a lot of the emotion. And then also with your music, you know, you don't have to make it go continuous all the way through. Like certain parts, like on mine, you actually hear the music drop out because I was highlighting certain responses that guy I am gave. You know, when
Hmm.
he said certain things, I took the music out because, and also, you know, in addition to that, that actually helps the person who's listening. That makes them re-pay attention or pay attention more
Right.
because, you know, when what you're hearing starts to become monotonous, like I'm hearing talking and I'm hearing music and, you know, nothing changes for a while, I'm gonna start to drift off a little bit. And but when the music went out and all of a sudden the voice got louder or the music came back in or there was another sound effect, anytime there was something new that changed, you've automatically brought your audience's attention right back to your story. And that helps that keeping what you have going on believable. But like I said, you know, I did Bandlab only lets you go, allows you to go up to 16 tracks, which I didn't hit the
Yeah.
max.
I found that out last night.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But like I said, this project you can in 3 tracks. If you don't uh if I actually put this project in Google Classroom because I wanted everybody to be able to hear it. If I had gone in and done all of these on the same track, I still would have cut them up like this because I would have played with the timing. Like I, you know, went back and cut these up as well as when I was cutting them up and playing with the timing. I wanted to make sure that the timing flowed with the music. Like I don't want it to sound like I'm sitting there just reading a whole paragraph and I don't ever take a break and I don't ever breathe and I just keep going and going and going and going. You know,
Right.
I just had to put the proper spaces in there. I also did go back and re-record individual lines. You know, so if I found just this section right here didn't sound good to me, I would re-record it, especially if I was not as animated as I wanted to be. You know, if I said, "Okay, I'll try the green eggs and ham," like if I said it sad like that versus like,
Right.
"No, I won't try those green eggs and ham." Sam, I am, you know, to be just so I can go back and make sure that every part sounds the way that I wanted it to sound. But you can once you do that, and I actually should have done this with my sound effects. Some of my sound effects were the files are the sounds are really long. So here's an example. You can hear you hear the thunder.
Good night in the rain, not in the dark, not on a train.
So the here I actually did automation. So right here on my rain, I went in and cut my volume so the thunder hits clap, wow, and then it immediately drops down right after. But there's another way, which is actually a better way to do this, and I didn't realize it at the time. But if you double click it, oh, cancel. If you double click the region, and you'll,
Huh?
I keep
Just gotta take off the automation for yeah, undo the automation on that clip.
oh, okay. Um, all right. So right now when you listen to it, it's gonna clap all the way through. I'm gonna turn this down.
Could not in the rain, not in the dark, not on a train, not in the car, not in a tree. I do not like them.
And see, now my rain is hanging on too long into my sound and it's starting to cover up my story. So I double clicked this region and it brings up this effects, this region editor. And I actually think you can click this too as well. So yeah, if you highlight this region, you can also click this editor right here. Oh no, it didn't work.
You did. It's,
There it is.
yeah.
I just didn't have the playhead in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once you're in here, make sure that the region is highlighted. If the region is not highlighted, they won't appear. But these little white tabs on either end of the region is how I'm actually going to go in and
Shorten it.
get my fade, my storm out.
I would shorten the the waveform also from the bottom right.
All right, yeah. I would
Shorten
think.
it to how long you want it, and then also take that air out the beginning. There you go, and then you do your fades.
Yeah. So now it should get out of the way for the next sounds in my voice.
Okay.
I would not, could not in the rain, not in the dark, not on a train, not in the car, not in a tree. I do.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of sounds in there, but now we no longer hear uh, the storm carrying out, just so you can hear it. You know, your fades all the way out.
Lay it out. Mhm.
I do not like.
Yep. So, um,
And you control how long it is by just cutting down the length of the region, like he did.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So on the bottom, you click the bottom right to bring it to shorten it out.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
and the
Yep.
bottom left to bring it in on the bottom left. So he could have brought it into. I go in a little bit further, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Bring that fade out a little bit. There you go.
Mm.
So listen to that. That's what I was thinking. You could bring that. See the cursor down in your
There it is.
in the edit?
Rain, not in the dark, not on a train.
Yeah, there you go.
So now it's shorter.
Mm-hmm.
That's sometimes a better way to do it than to use the automation because it's easier to copy that. So if he wanted to copy that again, all you have to do is click on it, Control C, or
Mm-hmm.
Command C on a Mac, and
Command C
and then
paste.
and then paste. And now it's pasted the
Paste.
exact same thing. It gets a
Yeah.
little more crucial when you have automation because then it asks you, do you want to duplicate the automation, which it'll do, but it gets a little bit cumbersome.
Yes. That
So
was
yeah, go ahead.
that was the warning that came up whenever I first clicked on it. Actually, it's going to keep asking you over and over, do you want to move the automation? Do you want to move the automation? You want to move the automation? And then if you do add automation, it makes it hard to control. Like, see, I can't adjust my volume up here for this track
Right.
anymore because it's automated, because it's already set for each part of the song or
Right.
each part of the track. So if I had done the editing in here for each individual region, then I would still be able to easily manipulate my volume for that track.
And the other cool thing about this is double click on the region so you can show them how you can go back to the Thunder and name it Thunder.
Oh, gotcha. Um,
There it
there
is.
it is. So if I click this name right now, it's called House in Rain. I'm just going to double click that. Oh, nope, that didn't do it.
Oh, you got to do it on the one in the yeah.
Oh, and this one.
Yeah, just zoom in.
Uh,
See, so you can rename a region. That also makes it slicker if you're going to use sound effects in this. Let's say you had all your sound effects in the same track. Now you
Uh-huh.
track the which waveform or which region is what. So you know that's the thunder region. You know the other one is uh, something else region.
Yeah, the train. Yeah.
You know,
Rain,
train. You know if you
rain, rain.
hard is when you're pulling them in, just name them right then. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then drag them into your, and then you would call the track a sound effect track, and and you just rename the track as sound effect track, and now you you just rename all your regions. This way you can copy them and paste them wherever you want them and stuff like that in that track. Gives you a little easier control.
Right.
I mean, you think it out. You think your project out. Sometimes you do need them in a different track because you might want to put a different kind of effect on it or something like that. So, you know,
Question.
yeah.
Like, okay, Jordan, you just said that you use different tracks for your voice, right? So you had more than one track for your voice, correct?
Ye-
He has three tracks for his voice.
For three tracks. Now, say for example, say if you had a bigger where you use all 16 tracks and you didn't have a track for your voice and you just recorded over that, can you edit that voice? Can you edit your voice with it just being over all the tracks?
I can answer.
Yeah, I'm not.
Um,
I'm not.
drag, drag those four that we're looking at right now on the to the track one.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what I'm showing you is he could have did this all his whole thing on one track,
Right.
right? And then he cut them, spliced them, and then all he did was change them to different tracks. And the reason why he did that was because he was trying to get that sound where one of them was a little more distant than the other by using reverb. So he was trying to create space, like the narrator was right up on him, or one of them. The not the narrator was in the background, and Guy I Am is in the foreground. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
So he did that using reverb, and the problem was it's hard to do it in this on the same track. If you were doing it all on one track in a regular DAW, then you would be able to automate the reverb. So if you really wanted to get nitpicky like that and you had a limited tracks, you could automate the reverb and actually, when a particular um, when it came up to that particular region, the reverb pops on and off and stuff like that. And you can automate, well, you can automate the pan on here, but it gets to be tedious. So it was much easier for him to just split them up and then drop the Sam I Am on one track, the Guy I Am on the other track.
Okay.
It just became easier for him because then he could create. If you look on this track head over on the left, you'll see that he has high and bright on the Sam I Am on the Sam and the Guy I Am. He has a custom effect
Yeah.
put over on that. So
Okay.
different, and he panned them different ways.
Got you. Yeah.
Now, with limited tracks, I think what you were going to, well, what happens if you run out of tracks?
Right.
What you can do,
Yeah.
what you can do is like if you already know, I got my. Let's say you know exactly how you want your voice tracks. You got them set up. So now you solo your three voice tracks, and then you do a mix down of those. And then you open up a new project called Green Eggs and Ham 2, and you drag you drag that vocal track in there. Now it's one track instead of three, but it has all your effects and everything on it.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Because you actually mixed it. It's like sub mixing, like you mix those tracks. You could mix if you had all your sound effects, you could mix that into one track. So I would mute it, solo those tracks for all the sound effects, then let it mix that down. Now I got one stem of sound effects, I got one stem of vocals, and now I can create a stem with all the instruments, and it'll be stereo because you've already panned them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you bring in, now you have everything, your whole project is on 3 tracks, right?
Okay.
Now you can add more tracks. Now you now you got because you don't lose anything because it's digital. So now you brought in those 3 stems to the new version, Green Eggs and Ham version 2, right? Now you have 13 more tracks. You see what I mean?
Right, because you use three of the 16 additional tracks that you already had, that you have now.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
You what you did was submix that into 3 tracks, and then you brought those submixes into a new into a new project, and then you start keep on adding tracks, and you could do this as many times as you want. And the thing is if you say after you get further on, I mean, it gets tedious, but if you get further on, um, you can always go back to your vocal tracks and fix those. Then you just have to do the mix again, do another vocal stem, and then just drop that back into Green Eggs and Ham 2. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Um, sometimes you guys don't know what sound on sound is. Y'all never had to record sound on sound, right? Anthony or Jordan?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. What it is, I'm just thinking of my age now. What it is, sound on sound was when we used to have 4 tracks of magnetic tape, and you could record over yourself without erasing what you just recorded on the same track. So let's say you have a 4-track tape. It could be reel to reel, cassette, or whatever. And now what you did was you record on 4 tracks, and then you mix all that onto one track, your 4th track, and then you do it over again. So I would have on one track, I would record over and over again and do my vocals over, but you had to be right every single time. You couldn't be, there was no going back because you already recorded. So you're recording sound on sound. The problem is every time you record over something, it gets more and more degraded. So you lose every time you record over each other. It was more apparent when you had a cassette doing it than if you were using a one-inch tape, reel to reel. But the point is you would lose every time you go over. But this is the same kind of thing. The only great thing about this is that you don't lose any data because it is all digital. So you're not losing any quality by doing this. But it's the same type concept. That's how I look at it. It's the same concept.
Yeah, I had that experience. I'm gonna say way back in the day when playing horn. They used to do that. We used to have to go in, and you have to, like, if you hit a line and then the line was incorrect, you have to make sure that the line was correct, and then they'll take it and put it in. And then down through the years, I played just one note and they drag the note, and then I'm good.
See? So, everybody now is born into the digital age, but they don't have a concept of where a lot of this stuff came from. So that's how I can go into it over and over again. Reverb, tape echo, and all that kind of stuff was all done. Tape echo was done literally through another tape deck that you had, and you would send out the sound to that deck and then bring it back in. And it was a short, it would be reel to reel with just a loop. And how big the loop was going was how fast how big the loop was how fast your echo was.
Mm-hmm.
Was that? I mean, that's what an echo chamber was, man. And it was we did it in the studio with reel reels, you know.
Gotcha.
And then they came out with the space echo, which was by Roland. Came out with a space echo, which was this tape loop, literally a tape loop in the machine, just a lot of tape, and it wasn't even on reels. It would just gather, and when you had your speed of your echo is how fast the tape was going. It was how fast the tape was going past the play and the record head. And it still sounds good. So all these, if you look at some of the plugins, they look like, even in Reason, if you look at the echo, it that they emulated the space echo by Roland. That's how the front of it used to look. See, but it if a lot of us don't, a lot of people don't know that nowadays. So when I approach these things, I approach them because I knew the real box
Right.
and what it looked like and how it worked. And now they're emulating that in a digital form. You know, the same thing with everything. I mean, all this digital stuff. So anyway, I wanted to, I know we went a little overtime, but I wanted to shut down the recording and and